Susan Rochford is Senior Vice President on the Council on Competitiveness. The Council works to increase the competitiveness of U.S. companies in the global marketplace. Here to talk a little bit more about what might be accomplished at Copenhagen. Susan, thanks for coming in.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good to see you again. Of course, the World Climate Talks in Copenhagen is a governmental gathering. The NGOs and the business world are sort of taking a back seat to this. So tell me what you know so far about what the private sector is doing to influence the talks.
Well, I think the private sector has been working on this for months leading up to this. For instance, the Council on Competitiveness articulated and issued a call to action in late September at a National Energy Summit and International Dialogue that we conducted here in Washington, D.C. And that is a reflection of the business community putting forth, in our case, what we view as very important fundamental principles.
You came up with a list of recommendations that came out at that gathering.
We did. We came out with 2 things, actually.
Okay, where did those go since then?
Well, we've been working very hard to promote our recommendations that we made with respect to what the U.S. needs to do to prepare for the coming low-carbon economy and to enhance our energy security and competitiveness. Separately, we issued this global call to action to call upon global leaders to really reflect these principles that will support the ability of the private sector to invest and innovate in sustainable energy solutions. And we've been actively promoting that. In fact, our president was over in Vienna this week at a major UNIDO conference, and our call to action has been receiving a lot of attention and play there. In fact, I understand it was hand-delivered to Ban Ki-moon 2 days ago.
Wow. Tell us what the business community really wants out of Copenhagen. Of course, we hear so much about clarity. They want certainty, yes. and they want a price on carbon.
Yes, the regulatory certainty is absolutely fundamental. I mean, you have had companies and industries really on the sidelines now for several years.
Investment-wise, they're holding back.
Absolutely, they don't know which way to go. So, in addition to getting that transparent, clear, predictable price signal, what we're really looking for is the enabling conditions, both here in the United States and also to continue that support globally that will allow the private sector, which is really the engine of investment and innovation, to play its constructive role in developing, designing, and delivering the sustainable energy solutions that climate change demands.
Well, relate for me, the goal of I know you guys are pushing for global cooperation, all nations coming together to cooperate globally. Policies that could come out of whatever treaty eventually comes out of these talks, and U.S. legislation that's being crafted here.
I'm sorry, the question?
Just sort of, I mean, can you relate to me the policy that you want to come out? How does whatever comes out of these global climate talks, most likely not until next year, relate to legislation that is coming out of Congress here? Will it push? Will they?
Well, I think there's definitely there's a political and there's a substantive. On the political side, I think what we have is a confidence game, right? I mean, leading up to Copenhagen, what was happening in the U.S. Congress was having an influence on the expectations for Copenhagen. The ball is now in Copenhagen. And I think if we come out with a political agreement that really demonstrates that there is indeed a global political will and momentum to achieve this global climate framework, that will help spur progress here in Washington on the legislation that's pending, in the Senate right now, and move us forward. On a more substantive level, I think what we're looking for is a framework that supports and recognizes the importance of certain fundamentals, like the importance of intellectual property right to helping to motivate, innovation and in these sustainable energy solutions. Looking for terms that will support the flow of clean energy solutions across borders and things that will support the ability of countries around the world to collaborate on what are going to be global solutions to these global challenges.
So without a solid agreement, with numbers in it coming out of Copenhagen, which is unlikely, those are the things that you think will make this a success nonetheless?
I think recognition of that, that we see evidence that this is acknowledged and supported by political leaders around the world, that yes, that is a key confidence building measure that I think can help move us forward on the legislative frontier.
Where is the U.S. on the competitiveness scale when it comes to moves toward clean tech and renewable energy technologies? I mean, there's a lot of areas where we're truly lagging behind China and elsewhere.
Well, we have incredible natural assets here. We have a really strong, robust innovation ecosystem. That said, I think, and this is reflected in the Council's agenda that I referred to that we released in September, we haven't really put all of the regulatory and policy measures into place that can really support our ability to compete in sort of this new low carbon world that we're moving to. And other countries, even years in advance of having an actual political treaty and climate framework, they have been taking measures to support the development of these new clean energy industries of the future. So, we think the clock is ticking in more ways than one. Right. We really are anxious that we can not only provide that climate certainty, the regulatory certainty that a climate framework will provide, but we really need the tools. And this is, again, embedded in some of the proposals that we have made and some that are pending on the Hill right now. We need the tools to be able to compete in that low carbon economy. It's not just the price signal. There are many other things that are important to support.
But as far as influencing the text that comes out of Copenhagen, are you seeing any fruits of your efforts so far? Day 4 of week 1 is just wrapping up now.
I think right now there's a lot of it is going on behind the scenes. I think there's all the expected positioning.
The final announcements,
I'm sure it's going to be an extremely busy weekend, yes, and that I think we're going to really start to see more tangible results next week.
All right, we will be checking for that. And Clean Skies News, of course, is there every day tracking all the action. Susan Rochford, Council on Competitiveness, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.